Hello friends, it's Julie Norman, and today we're going to do our what sold video. And yeah, it's not the tents, it's because I have, if you see across the top here, I have a lot of tabs open to show you what sold over the last week since my last video. And I'm just going to have to, I think, do it bi-weekly for now, and I'll share a little bit more about that at the end. So first we have Exeter Cathedral Valentine Limited Postcard. I don't know if it's Valentine's and Sons. If anybody does know if the Valentine Limited was the same thing, let me know. This is an undivided back, and $4.47. We have Nubble Island, New York, and this is a main lighthouse, an old lithograph. Undivided back, it went out to Mrs. G.W. Fuller in Lexington, Massachusetts, and $4.47 is today's price. Temperance River, Minnesota, Scenic North Shore Drive. Here is unposted, and it's a nice old linen, and it went for $8.47. Okay, now we have a dancing postcard, World War II, Sergeant Zimmerman. And that is the one who wrote this postcard. So it's a linen comic postcard. And here is his address here. It's Soldier's Mail. So that one went for $4.97. I like to include the soldier's name in case there's somebody looking for him. And it also gives it a little bit more provenance, or if that's the right word. So here's W.D. Jenkins' home in Columbus, Montana. This one was kind of funny because I had listed it for like $19.97, and the person sent me an offer for $15. I'm like, okay, I paid 50 cents for it, so sure. It was a Montanan. And then he didn't pay for it, so after 8 days I sent him a note, didn't hear anything back, and so I canceled the order. And then he came back a few days later and said, I forgot to pay for it. Here's my offer. And then he offered $14.50. So I'm like, well, whatever. If you're really going to pay for it. And he said, please send me a message to remind me to pay for it. And I said, well, you can actually pay for it when you purchase it. And, you know, when you say you're going to buy it. And so that's what he did. So I think he's a new one to eBay or something weird. But he got an extra 50 cents discount. So maybe he's really smart. So that's what that one sold. And I have another one. So don't worry. Here's a real photo postcard of Bald Mount House Gardens in Adirondack, and it's just a field, and you can see like the gate there. I think this might be the house here. It's really hard to see, and it went for $15. You never know what people are going to buy. And these next few blue cats went to the same person. Here's this one, that one, that one, and that one. Yep. New entrance to Mammoth Cave National Park, Kentucky. And I did note that there are antique cars. Here's the back. And $12.97. Railroad Tracks, Grand Canyon, Cannon, Stony Clove. I had to check this because it's like, I thought, should that be Canyon? And should that be Cove? But, you know, it's correct. It just kind of threw me off. Divided back, lithograph for $4.97. Little Turtle Chief, Miami Tribe, a nice portrait of him, and it was a lithograph for $8. Here's a real photo of the Flint Lock black powder rifle, photo by Leo Harris. Now the type of gun this is not listed at all on this postcard, but my husband knew what it was, so he said, yeah. So we figured it out from just this part. 1947. Little girl in knee-length dress. This is actually a photo postcard, colorized, which now I would have put those keywords in, but back then I didn't know all that. So I'm still learning. I have been doing this for less than a year, but it sold for $6.47. Dallas Love Field Airport aerial view in Texas. There is the airport, and the back is a chrome for $4.50. Railroad Tracks, here's another of these. I don't know if it was the same person who bought the other one, but another view of that, and it is undivided back for $4.97. We have a photo, the only one not a postcard this time, farm truck, and it's really just a small photo. And I did try to figure out what the name on this was, but all I could make out was farm. So that went for $7.47. And I charge first class shipping with tracking for $4.50. So I am actually toying with the idea, because I have lots and lots of photos, of just charging like $1 shipping and sending it out with a stamp. I know I run the risk of somebody not saying I didn't receive it, same way with postcards that go international. But it seems like a lot to charge for a photo. Do you sell photos, and what do you do about shipping? I think for the ones under $10, maybe that's what I'll do. You know, kind of like follow the eBay standard envelope rules, kind of. So let me know. I just don't see a lot of tutorials on how to sell photos as much as have seen of postcards, so I'm just learning. First Ward Meeting House in Smithfield, Utah. And unposted went for $12.97. I have had a lot of Utah postcards, and there are so many of like the temple and that kind of thing that I just don't even list them anymore because I have so many up. But that one was different. Okay, 24th Street, Ogden, Utah. And I believe this one and the next few went out to the same person. An old lithograph. And there's these posts going down the middle of the street. Was that, does anyone know what the purpose of that was? Was there like a streetcar going by or something? Just curious. That was 1907 and went for $4.97. The next one is Ogden, Utah. Another one. There are no posts going down the center of the street in this one. And divided, unposted, and the bird's eye view of Logan, Utah. And this was a white border, unposted again. So $11.97. Here we have a chrome postcard of an aircraft Cessna 182 in flight, and that went for $4.47. Bandstand Confederate Monument, so white border. And Confederate monuments might be desirable now because many of them are taken down and they're no longer standing. So that's $3.97. Okay, this one I basically figured out how to kind of set my own price. I looked all over for something, for any kind of pricing structure on a dealership, a Ford dealership, and this location, but I didn't find hard. I found like next to nothing about this, and I thought it was kind of neat because you can see all the cars that were for sale. I mean, you even would have a Woody station wagon in there. I don't think I had room to put in there because I had all these other keywords, but I would have put it there if I had the room. And so I was just like, well, how do I price this? So what I did is I put it up for auction. I think I started at around $10, $9.97. And I let it just go and it went up to $17.75, and with two bidders. And the reason why I did this is because I have two of them. This is the second one for $19.95 with some wiggle room to come down to this price. So there we go. We established a price range for this card. Okay, next we have School for the Deaf, Romney, West Virginia. It is not a rare card, but like I said, West Virginia cards are popular. That went for $4. Grüß aus, which means greetings from Salzburg, Austria. And I've been starting to sell more international cards, but they're slower than the regular ones. So nice view, and it's undivided back, $4.47. City Hall, Pabst Building Riverboat. There are a lot of this card. Mine wasn't in great shape, as you can see up here, so I priced it lower. So maybe somebody just wanted a lower price one, or placeholder, and that went for $5.97. Real photo of Superstition Mountain in Arizona, and I added that there's saguaro cactus. Sorry, it's late for me. And there were a lot of this. There's the Superstition Mountains, RPPCs, but not one just like this. So I priced it up a little bit more, and it sold rather quickly, and it went for $12. Lighthouse Entrance to Harbor, Milwaukee in Wisconsin. Lithograph, and it was postmarked 1912 to Melia Schwager, $4.97. Wagon Bridge, Tongue River, Miles City, Montana. I don't know if this is still there. They do have some old bridges in Miles City. $11.97. Thanksgiving. Oh, okay. It's like this. Don't worry, it wasn't posted like this because this is my second time doing this. Because the first time I forgot to hit record. Speaking of, okay. So this is a Thanksgiving postcard. A Thanksgiving selling in March, and it was a nice embossed one, and that went for $3.89. South Main Street, Port Henry, New York, an old lithograph. It was kind of a rare view of it, and this was postmarked 1915 to Sayre Howell in New York. In 1297, Monk, Cross, California. And this is a little different because this guy, I didn't see many other ones that had this monk gesturing at the cross. And so I priced it up a little bit more than the other ones, and it actually sold pretty quickly. So I don't know if I could have marked it for more, but I didn't see any other comps of that one being sold before. So $7.97. Havre, Montana Railroad Museum. I have got this one last summer when we went to Havre, and I would highly recommend the touring that town. They have a really interesting underground tour when like all the streets, when they had a big fire and a lot of the buildings were destroyed, so they moved to the underground basements, and they did their business out of there while they rebuilt the city. So there's some interesting tales in Havre. $4.47. Mountie Pioneer Sioux Line Museum in Saskatchewan. All right, and look at there's spinning wheels in there. I didn't catch that. Maybe I should have. I wouldn't have kept that one. You can't really see them. Unposted chrome for $3.97, and it did go to Canada. Real photo of Salt Flats, and here's my close-up. EKC, and the full picture. Went for $8.47. Real photo postcard of a Catholic church in Julesburg, Colorado. I did not see any other ones just like this, but I did search in the Julesburg history, what real photos sold for, and they're between about 5 and 12 mostly, maybe. And so I didn't see anything just like this, because you can see they still have scaffolding and construction, which is a little different. So I priced it $20, and I didn't send out any offers to the watchers who were watching it, and it sold within a week for what I wanted. I probably could have sold it for more because of the content, but I probably paid less than $1, probably 50 cents, even a quarter for this guy. So I figure that for that, and it goes out quickly, I'm able to turn around the money more quickly than if I had waited for an extra $5 or $10. So I know pricing is so arbitrary, isn't it, for postcards? Okay, beautiful Camp Rose in Healdsburg, California. Tree-lined dirt path. I mean, what else do you say about it? It is unposted, and $7.47. Worcester Polytechnic Institute in Massachusetts. Alright, and it was posted in 1908 to Miss Julia somebody, and $5.97. And lastly, I'm going to give it a shout out to another postcard related channel, and this one is Jackass Retro. I have mentioned him before because I've got purchased a lot of Florida postcards that I'm doing a test run with to actually track when I break even and make a profit on it, and just keep staying tuned because it hasn't happened yet. But I would highly recommend his channel. He's not an only postcard seller, but neither am I on content. He does a lot of other things. You can often find me in the morning because he does the Shipmageddon in the morning. So you can kind of guess from his name that he's a little bit different than me, which is okay. I would highly recommend it. He does have some tutorials on postcard selling, because I know people have asked me, and I don't feel qualified yet to give a lot of advice. I'm just sharing my journey with you more and taking you along with me than giving tutorials, and I can answer questions for what helps me, but he has been doing it longer than me, so he can actually give you a lot more help than I can on that. So I would encourage you. He does do what solds too, and he does do it, I think he's doing it weekly as well, which is kind of bringing me back to, okay, I started to tell you that I'm going to, for now, do these weekly. I'll do that through March and see how that goes, because as you can see, I've been selling more, so I don't want these to take forever, because I do add a little bit of my own commentary and information, but I also don't want this channel to be all like what sold and my all postcards, because there's more to me than that. But for now, that seems to be what people want to see, which, you know, and I'm willing to do it for now, but it might change in the future about showing every single sold. I think you kind of get the idea after a while. So we'll see how that goes for March, and hopefully it will get busier. I had a really good month in February. I'm just so thankful for this opportunity to sell little pieces of paper, little bits of history. I would love to know what you thought of the solds, if you think I undersold too much, or what you liked and what you didn't like. And most of all, I hope you have a joyful day. Goodbye.